Hello, hello. This is Pauline from Pauline Art Stuff, and I'm back today for a color along in this lovely book, Romantic Country: The Second Tale by Erie, one of my favorites by her. And I am coloring in this book for just her full book collab, and I've been granted this lovely double page spread, and I'm gonna record it as a color along for you guys so you can color along with me. And we are going to use Neocolor IIs today. So I got them in this lovely box that is no longer available. It was originally by a brand called Blue Band, as you can see. It's like a butter company here in the Netherlands. I don't know where it originally came from, but I store my Neocolors like this in the bin. And then I got my swatches on top, as you can see. And I got this little tool that you can like push, and then you can put it in there, and then it's like nice and thick to hold on, because this can be hard to hold on to. So this helps me with grabbing my tools. So we're going to use these today. So let me put these to the side for a second, and then I'll show you what else we're going to use. We have a jar of water, just a jar, because then we can dip our stuff in it. I've got a pastel brush. You all know these things. This is for pastel. I'm going to use this as well today because they work really well. I also have a smaller one like this one, but it's a bit more like movement to it. So this might be a bit harder to control, but it's smaller, I wanted to say. So we got these two pastel brushes. And then I got two makeup brushes with like smaller bits, but they're also pretty firm, as you can see, and soft at the same time. So I got those two just in case. But I also have the normal water brushes. So this one is like an off-brand that I don't even know. I got it years ago, which is like a nice slow going water brush. So it barely gives any water. And this one gives a lot of water in case I need it to move stuff around. So that's why I've got those two. But I prefer not to use them, but I probably will. But we will see. So I keep them all on a towel. It's just like one of those towels that you clean the kitchen with. And I use that to dry off the brushes. So once you dip this, I'm gonna like squeeze it in here like so. So that the water, like you can even do like this, you know, squeeze out the water. So it's only like a little bit damp. And that's what you want. You don't want too much water on your brushes, because that will not be good with the Neocolor II, because you can, if there's too much water on your brush, you will wipe it off before you even activated it. So then all the pigment will be gone. So I have decided on a lovely color palette that I've not written down yet. So once I've done that, once I'm done, I will place it here on the screen for you guys, so you can also pick your colors. But I have to warn you in advance, because I got the anniversary sets for certain colors. So that means you don't have them maybe in your collection. So if you look at these color swatches, you can see that there are some with a star in front of them. That means they're from the anniversary sets. So also that one, and they're pretty gorgeous colors, you know. So that's why I'm saying I might be using one of those. But I have to tell you that like this one, you will be able to make from that one with white, for instance. The same with this one. You can make that one, the really light color, with like 521 and a little bit of white, because they're pretty similar. And the same counts for this one. You can just use probably that one with white, depending on which hue you want. But that's literally how it's set up. So, but I am still going to use the ones from the special anniversary set, but when I do, I will let you know, so that you are aware that I'm doing that. So let's get our colors. So of course I want white. I'm going to place them in there. So I got them all in a row. Let's see, what else do I want? I want a really light yellow, so let's use that one instead, because that one you don't have. So let's see, 521, that's this one. It's a light yellowy tone. I don't want it too bright. So this one is probably 11. Yeah, this is 011, light yellow, pale yellow. That's much more bright, so I will still put that as well, but it's still like really gentle. See, it's a bit bright, and then that one, that is more muted, but I really like it. We're not, maybe we can use the orange. Let's see, is that this one? No, that's 31. That is also a lighter orange. That might be useful as well. Let's put that as well. I want a light blue. Let's see, 661. I want, that's this one. Yes, that's also a not limited color. And then I would like a more purpley tone. We can go for 131. That's more like a blue violet, like that's this one, hell violet. So this is how I go about and pick my colors. We want pinks. So let's see. The pinks that I have is 081. That's like open stock. This is 881. Yeah, I like that one too. But let me put that to the side for now because that's not an open stock. This is also a limited edition one. But I still will put it to the side so I know that those... Like this is the pink, the 081, which is open stock. So those I can use because I prefer to use the ones that you can get as well. Let's see, 593 is also, I think, yeah, it's also a limited edition. Let's not use that one either. This is also a limited edition, just because I know from memory. Let's see, there's more purpley pinks over here. So let's have a look at those. I know this one is the 090. Yes, that one is open stock as well. So that's beautiful. You can use that. This one is not open stock, but it's one of my favorite tones. So I will use it. But if you don't own it, I will also show you how you can make it yourself. And then, let's see. Do I have everything I need? I need a purpley tone. And this one is the limited edition, which you will be able to make yourself with 120. Let's see, is it this one? Like, you see how dark that one is? But this one is basically, no, I think it's more this tone. I think this one, which is that one next to it, if you mix that with like white, you might get something similar to this. So that's what we're going to test out. So I'm going to take that one as well. We're not going to use the limited edition for that sake, because I'm afraid then you might not be able to do the same thing. Like, I would love to use these as well, like these two. So let me just put them down as well, just in case. And like this one I would love to use as well, but again, a limited edition, we're still gonna use it. Screw it, I'm gonna do it. Okay, do I want any more tones? I don't think so. Maybe a turquoise? Maybe not. Maybe I want to keep it even more limited. Like maybe that one, the 191, which is probably this one. No, that's 211. Almost. Those are two greens. Maybe that one. 201. Like this is the only thing that I don't like about it. Like this is the one. 191, which is also open stock. Okay, let's put that one as well to the side. Like that's the only thing that you have it like this, that you have to dig through your crayons, but it's all right. Okay, let's leave these out just for the sake of having them. Then I'll put this to the side because we don't need it anymore. But this is basically how I go about picking my colors. I just check, like, I've got an idea in mind and I'll just pick them. But of course, it's my favorite color palette. So I usually keep these as a reference so I know which one is which tone. So I put them above me as well, so I can have a look at them while we work. And then I'm just going to add layers on top of the page. So let me remove this one so we know we're going to start. So the first thing I do is think about where do I want my lightest colors. And I think I want it around the fairy. That is light coming from here and then going darker the more we go to the left. I think that's roughly what I want. Or maybe we're just going to do patches with multiple colors. That's also an idea. I think I will do both. So what I will start with is a really light yellowy tone. So I got like these yellowy tones. These are all the yellows that I picked. And we're going to start with our white for the sake of making a nice soft blend. So what I will do is I'll put it in here. So squeeze it, put it in there, and now it's stuck. At least it should be. And then we can use it like this. And I'm just gonna scribble it on. So you won't be able to see anything, but when I do this, it will blend into the color that we place on top. So I will just put it all the way in the corner. So this whole corner will have some white. So roughly till the fairy, I want all the white, like so. And then we switch to our brightest yellow, which is 011, Pale Yellow by Neocolor II. Come on, get in there. And I will color on top of the white. And just color it on there. Because everywhere I color right now, there's already white underneath. So I will just bring it even further out. We're gonna color this entire picture with Neocolor II, just so that you are aware. And usually when I do this by myself, I might even add some Holbein at the end for like details if I need it. But you can do everything with Neocolor II. That's what I'm going to show you today. So that's how I like it, like a half circle. So I'm now going to go to the next shade up, which is 521 Sahara Yellow. So I'm going to keep you zoomed out so you can actually see what I'm doing with the placement. So I'm just going to add it on. That's my cat meowing. So I will color next to it like so, but I will also color over the other color lightly. So I'm doing really light pressure and I'm just scribbling it on like so. So this whole corner will be pretty bright and yellowy toned. That's what I want. Maybe a little bit more to the bottom. Like so, and we will also do that on the left of the fairy. So bringing down the pigment on the paper is actually one of the more easier parts, like the quicker parts of this process. The activation is like the tough work over here. And you might want to add more layers even. You know, like the first layer will never look too great. But we will see. Like I want it all the way around the fairy, this yellow tone. There we go. I think that's enough. So let's go to the next shade, which is that orangey tone that I said. Orangish yellow, 031. That's the name of it. That's a hard one to pronounce. And I'm just gonna color over it a little bit and around the fairy. The reason why I make everything yellow / orange around the fairy is because I want her with pink tones. And if I put pink behind her, oh my god, what happened? There's a little bit of dirt on my crayon. You see what I do? I scrub it off with my finger and I get a eraser because there's like these little marks and I can just like erase it, hopefully. Yes, I can erase it. Okay, good. Because there was a little bit of dirt inside the crayon that was making marks. So it's gone now, so now I can happily continue. So let's make a half circle. And let's continue it on that side. But as you can see, I always layer on over the previous color, so it blends in easier when activating. But this is just easy going, just not worry too much, just lay it down and we will see what happens when we activate it. I am not really bothered by this. So that's all the orange yellow tones. And now I want to go into the purple and the pink stuff. But I would love to use this one, which is 881, which is basically a lighter version of 081. So instead of using the limited edition, we're not going to do that. I'm going to put this one down, the 081, which is just pink. And we're going to add white on top to get the lighter tone. So I'm going to lay this one down like so, around it. So yeah, I'm being pretty rough, as you can see. You just want the pigment down. As you can see, I do color around the flowers as far as I'm able to. So I will try to place it in between. But the chance of it going over the flowers a little bit here and there is always a thing. Okay, so I will bring it all the way up. And then I'll bring it to the left a little bit. Because I want to make more shapes to the left. Okay, I think that's good for now. Let's add some more pink here on the bottom. A lot more pink. Okay, now I'm going to take the white again. So that is just white. Is it called white? Yes, 001 white. And I'm going to color over the yellow, or the pink that we just laid down. So I'm just going to add a nice layer, nice thick layer on top of it. Like in this in-between section where it meets the yellow orangey tone. So it will become a lighter tone. So it will become more like this one. That's why we're adding the white on top before we even activate it. Like the other way to do this is to put it on a palette. So you put the pink on the palette and the white and you mix it on the palette and then you use it as paint. But I like using it straight on the paper like I am doing now. So I'm just adding it on. Like you see what I'm doing? I'm just scribbling like a little child, like hallelujah. That's what I like to do with this stuff. Just add it on a nice amount. Don't be stingy with your crayons. Just add a nice amount of pigment. That's what I do with that. So then this whole section will be a lot lighter when we activate it. And this will be a lot darker. But now I want it even brighter. So I want a really bright pink tone on the bottom. And I would love to have this one. But again, I think this is the limited edition. So this is the Tyrian pink, which is the limited edition. See, special edition. So we're not going to use that one, but I love this color. So instead, we're going to use the 090 purple. And we're going to lay that one down first. And then again, we put on white on top to get that tone. Because that's my favorite tone. So I will add it here on the bottom. This whole bottom section, I want this tone. So I'm just scribbling it on. You see how not careful I am? I'm just like, let me make a little bit more space above my book so I can show you it. I will also grab myself a little piece of carton to place underneath the book. It's a thick carton so I can go off the page. You see, otherwise I will like destroy the side of the paper. So I will just color all over this place. And I'm just scribbling it on. Like so. Let me remove that pencil texture for the page number. I'll also do that on the other side. I always put that in pencil so I know which page I'm coloring when picking my pages. But when I color it, I remove it. So this is how I like to do it. Then on the bottom I want a bit more pigment because I want it nice and vibrant. Let's remove it. Yes, and we can't go in the crease. So instead, I'll put quite a bit of pigment so I can move it into the spine when we add it. Okay, and I also want some on the other side. So I just scribble it on. And now we're gonna also go into different tones. Let me also place the carton on the left so we can actually color off the page again. So I'm gonna scribble it down here as well, this tone. But I want more tones as well over here. So I'll just place it wherever I feel like, as you can see. No rhyme or reason to it. I just know that I want the bottom / left darker than the top right. That's all I do know. So I think this is good enough for this one. So let's go to the white. So I will grab my white again and I will go over this area over here. Let me move it to the left for you again. So I will add it on top of this tone. You can already see it mixing together. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of pressure as well, because it will work. It will add more white, because you need quite a bit of white to get the nice tones. That's why I'm just not being stingy at all. Okay, that's that one done. So that's another tone that we don't have. And I'm gonna add in a little bit of this 100 purple violet, which is not a special edition, right? No, that's a normal one. Good, good, good. That's what I want. And I'm gonna add it here on the bottom. Oh, we need another carton, Pauline. I've got 2 of them, so let's place one on this side as well. And we're just gonna add it on over here to make this patch a little bit darker. There we go. And I also want it on the left. So let's move my book. And we're going to add it here in the background. So because these are pretty dark tones, we might need another layer when we get to activating it all. So keep that in mind. Yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to lay it in between the flowers, which is not always the easiest part. But don't worry, we can remove the pigment if we accidentally put it over the flowers. Navy B, that's my cat, Spooky. She's a bit, how do you say it? Impatiently waiting for food because it's almost lunchtime. It's like 11:30 right now in the morning. So she wants her food, but it's not time yet. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just scribbling it on. So I will scribble it on all the way to the corner this time. But yeah, the main trick with this is don't use too little pigment. You need enough pigment to move around when you activate it. So don't be too stingy, and you don't have to be too careful. Like, you try to go around the subjects, but if you cannot, you can always remove it once we activate it. And you can also remove some with your eraser, as I just showed you. So that's also a trick before you even start. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, let's remove this color. And now we're gonna go to the more blue slash purple tones. So I think I'm first gonna use the purple, which is called Periwinkle Blue 131, which is not a limited edition. Okay, good. Just checking, you know, checking. Okay, let's use that on the left next to the purpley tone. So this is a lot darker tone as well. I want this left side quite dark. There we go, just add it on, don't be stingy. So yeah, I'm not being careful at all, as you can see. Like, I know it would be easier if I would, because then the blends that you make with the brush is easier to smoosh out, but I don't really care, because I just like to play with them and enjoy whatever happens. That's why I'm doing it like this. So I'm not that precious about it when placing my colors. So yes, I want to blend it into here. All around like this. And then I want to go into a lighter tone here in the middle. So I'm still going to place it, but a lot lighter layer. So I'm scribbling down less pigment. And then I will add some white to that as well. To make it more of a lavender tone. We're adding some white. There we go. And then I'm going to use the blue tone, which is called Cobalt Blue 5% 661. And we're going to place it next to this tone over here. Like so. This feels now really waxy, so you might have some wax on your hands before you even start activating. So keep that in mind, that it's a bit of a messy way of coloring. Which I'm usually not a huge fan of messy stuff, but in this way I actually like it sometimes. You know, like sometimes it's nice to just play around and just do whatever. So yeah, let's add some more blue. I think I like it like this. Let's add a little bit more blue. Sometimes you're just experimenting with what you want. And I've got an idea, but like I always go off script a little bit, as I call it. There we go. I think I also want some blue here on the top. To add a little bit more. Let's put this behind it. I'm gonna mix in some other tones as well. So let's grab that purpley tone, which is called Periwinkle Blue 131. I'm just gonna add it on the blue to make even different colors. That's enough of that one. Then I'm gonna grab the Purple Violet 100, which is more like a purpley pink. I'm just gonna color in between. I'm just doing whatever I feel like, as you can see. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Just make a little patch over here. This is like by coloring by feeling, like, oh, I like a patch of this color. Oh, I like a patch of that color. Let's do it. So now I'm gonna use the purple 090, which is more like a pinky tone. Let's color it next to it. And then I want even lighter tone, so we're going back to the pink 081, which is just pink. And we're gonna fill up the leftover bits. As you can see, I also color over other colors that I already placed, as you can see. I do that on purpose, so it mixes in a little bit. And it creates even like new tones as well, which is really nice. I would suggest you give it a try. Don't be afraid to mix them on the paper. You don't have to use the plain color. You can just use whatever you like. Color them into each other. Like, I think I also want maybe a little bit of yellow in here in the middle as well. Just a tiny smidge maybe. I'm not sure yet. You think so? Okay, let's add a little bit of the pink over here. Okay, let's add some yellow as well. I want to do the brighter yellow, so we're going for orangish yellow 031. I'm going to place it right here in the middle, on top of this pink tone, and into that one even. And I think I also want a little bit maybe over here, on top of it. Just adding a little bit wherever I feel like it looks good, to add a little bit of this tone into it. A little bit of warmth. Yes, I like that as well. Let's see, I also want some over here, maybe. Just a tiny smidge, but be careful next to the blue. She might get green if I add too much. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Alright, what else do I want? Do I want more? That's the question. I don't think I want any more pigment. So as you can see, it's one big scribble fest. With a really bright side over here. And there's a lot of pigment over there. So the next step is to clip on these cartons behind it to protect the other side. So it's literally just a pizza box. And I'll just place it. Maybe it works better this way. Yes, it does. Does it? Yes, it does. And I'll clip it onto the paper with little clips on the side. But I need to activate it, so I will have to remove them as well. I need 2 more for the other side, actually. Let me grab 2 more. I got my drawer with all the tools next to me all the time. So let's do the same on this side. There's also a pizza box. Let's grab a few papers and clip it onto it. There we go. So now we've got protection behind it. And now we're gonna have to activate. So let me put that to the side. So now I've got all of this and the tools and the water. So I will open up my water jar. That's step number 1. Let's put the crayons to the side, because we're definitely gonna probably use it for more layers. So I put my cup next to me. And I'm gonna start with this one, I think. And I will use this one around the flowers. So let's put all of this to the side, because we're not using those at the moment. So I will use this one. I will show you. I will dip it in there. Just dip it in. And squeeze it out as much as possible in the cup already. Okay. Put the cup away. Then you press it on here. You see, there's like water coming off. And you just do like that. And that's like, now it's really like only a bit moist. There's almost no water on it. And then you go to your page. So I will remove this clip because we're going to start here in the corner. I'm just going to make like really gentle, soft circular motions. So it's pretty dry and you're just slowly moving it in circles. Don't press too hard because you will remove the pigment. And just keep going. Like on the lighter tone, it's easier to get smooth blends. But the further you go into the other colors, the harder it gets. So yeah, this is a matter of patience. Like the rubbing will solve the Neocolor, but also the dampness of the water. So the combination of the heat plus the movement that you do will solve your pigment. So as you can see, it looks really smooth if you do it like this, but it requires a lot of patience. So you will be rubbing like this probably for like a long time. So I will just go along and do that with you. Like the lightest part is actually the easiest part in my opinion. But once you get into the darker tone, which we are getting close to, just hold on. We're going into the next tone. You see what happens? It will change color because of what we placed. And if it doesn't work as much anymore, you can always dip your brush again and dab it on your towel again. But I like to use it as dry as possible. You see what happens? Like, it's so gorgeous. So when it gets drier and drier, I usually use a little bit more pressure. As you can see, you can use your finger to guide it. But yeah, you can still see the scratches from the crayon, unfortunately. It's gonna stay. So this is more like a dry brush technique with a little bit of water. So you use a minimum amount of water with this technique. So now it's a little bit too dry for my liking. So I will dip it again and do the exact same. I push out the water next to the cup. And then I'll dab it on my towel, clean it off, and I'll go back in. So now it's a lot wetter again. So I will be gentle again. Every time you wet the thing, you have to be more careful than you were before, because you will rub off the pigment otherwise. So this feels really like stiff and difficult to move, as if it's heavy on the paper, because there's so much pigment where I'm doing it right now. That's also why I made my tool a little bit more wet, so I can move it better, but it's not moving enough yet. So I'll keep going over, rubbing it all the way. But yeah, I added a lot of white on this area, as you remember. So that is what I'm feeling right now, the pressure of the white. Because it's a waxy substance that you place on the paper. It has a tendency that you need to make it all like solvable, and then it will move. Like you see, it becomes softer and softer the more you move and work it. Like, and if it's too light, you can always go back in with another layer and smoosh it even more. But I like to go layer by layer. So this is like how I usually do my first layer. And if I don't like what it looks like, I will come back and do it again. But yeah, you see that this actually became like this roughly, like even lighter because of the amount of white that I used. It's a really light pink. And that's how you can even make your own shades that you don't even have in your set. And that's the beauty of this stuff. That's why I like using it in this matter. Okay, let's brush it a little bit more, because it doesn't want to dissolve as easily, because I used a bit too much pigment, I think, with the white. All right, let's keep going. So yeah, this is just a patience game, as you can see, because it takes forever. You can't rush this. You have to slowly work your way over the page. So this will take probably the most time of everything. So I will also take a break in a second, because this is tiring for my hand, because it requires the same movement over and over again, which can be difficult for my hands. The trick is to not brush too hard, because if you use too much water or you press too hard, you will remove the pigment instead of like activating it. You will just remove it. which is not what you want. But as you can see, it's becoming a nice smooshy result, and that's what you want, nice and soft. So just keep working it. And yes, we are going over the fairy here and there as well, which is fine because we will just go over it with a different tone anyway. I'm not that careful around the objects either. Like I try to be, but it doesn't always work as great. Yeah, it's again too not wet enough, I think, because you can see it not working as well. Or like, let me clip it back here on the corner. Like if I feel this, it doesn't feel waxy anymore. But if I do it like this, I can feel the wax. So if it feels smooth and not like that wax feeling, you activated it all. That's also a tip to give you. So then you know you did enough rubbing and smooshing and everything. So let me wet it again. And let's repeat the process. So you just repeat the process every time. You put it in the jar, squeeze it out, dip it on your towel, and you go in again. But always be gentle when you first did that, because you can still see the texture of the crayon because there was not enough to move around. Let me remove that cat here. So let's continue next to the leaves. So as you can see, I'm doing like really gently, barely holding it when I first start. And the drier it gets, the more pressure I will use. But you can, of course, also say, like, I just make it wet more often, so I don't have to press as hard. That's also an option, depending on your preference. It's always an option. And you can use whatever you've got for this technique. You can use makeup brushes, you can use foam stuff, foam sponges, like all types. Just test it out, you know? Test it out what works. As long as it's soft and firm, it works. And I thought this one was the best so far to get the really nice blended look. That's why I'm using this thing, because this is my friend for the Neocolors, because it gives such a nice effect. Let me remove that thing. It's a little bit of junk. So yeah, it takes forever, as you can see. It's just a patience game, basically. Keep going. It takes time. That's all it is. It takes time and love and effort. Okay, I don't like how dry it is again. So let me add more water to it. Dab it on my towel and go in again. Come on. There we go. You see what happened? It makes its own color. Because I layered all those colors, it will become a new color. See? And if you still see the crayon, just keep rubbing it. Keep going in circles all the way till it dissolves, because the heat will dissolve it. And the crayon texture will disappear slowly but surely. And when there's not enough pigment, you will see that on the paper. Like over here, there's not enough pigment, for instance. So you just have to add on the next layer if you want some more. But yeah, this is how you get those soft, smooshy blends. By just using the brush over and over again. Taking your time. Like really take your time. As you can see, I'm not rushing at all. Letting the brush do the work for me. So I don't have to like kill my hand with my movements. This is the part where we use the purple with the white on top. So you see what happens when you smoosh it into each other? It becomes a lighter purple, you see? We will definitely see that once we get more to the bottom, because that's the plain color. You will see the difference in shade when we activate that. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. But yes, you can see I'm also going over the flowers, which is fine. We can remove that as well, like I told you before. But we're going to do that once we've done more of the activation. Come on. I'm not going to speed this up because I want you to see what happens when the colors smoosh into each other. And you won't be able to tell if I speed it up. Then you don't see what I'm actually doing. Like, you get the idea, but like doing it in real time is different than doing it like in Speedy Gonzalez mode, because it will look different. So now we're going more into the pigment that was just the purple, and you will see the difference. You see how the pigment looks different from there. There it's more like light purple, while here it's more purpley purple. And that's because of the white that we added. Okay, so this part is a bit tricky. I will use my other brush, so I will use this one. And I'll use my towel and I squeeze it a little bit, all the way till I see that this one becomes wet. And the tip has to become wet. It gets shiny. Is it shiny already? Come on. No, I hope so. Let's feel. No, it's still dry. A little bit more squeezing. Yeah, now it feels a little bit damp. So when it does, I do it like this. So this one gives really limited amount of water. And I'll just move the pigment into the spine, as you can see. But this one doesn't have enough water, I think. So I'm going to use the other one. This one has a lot more water. It's a lot more flowy. Like, you can already see how wet it is. You see the drops? So I'll dab it off on my towel again. And then don't squeeze it. So use it all the way at the tip so you can't squeeze it. And then gently move it in circles. And move the pigment into the spine slowly. And this is also how you can activate it next to the leaves if you don't want it to go over the leaves. You can just do it like this. But you can see that the activation is a lot harder. You see, it stays more scribbly. It gives a different effect than when you do it with the brush. You see what I mean? Because I didn't equally put it down everywhere. It will look different than when you do it with the brush. Which is fine for the spine, but I prefer the other look. Let me move you up. Yes, you can see what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing? Just making circular motions and keep going until it looks okay. But yeah, this looks a lot different than when you do it with the other brush. That's why I'm saying you get different results with different tools. So test out what you like. Because this is not my preferred method, but for the spine, I'll have no other choice because the other brush won't reach it. So that's why I'm doing it like this. It's not the most pretty, but it works. So let me dab it off. Every time you switch color, you want to dab your brush on your towel. Squeeze a little bit of water out so it becomes clean again. Otherwise you will transfer it into the next tone and you don't want to do that. Like now that I go into a different tone, I don't really mind because that's the goal here, that it smooshes into each other. But you see, this works as well for activation. But I usually only use it around the spine because I don't want that much water on my page. But this is definitely also a way to do it. But it becomes less like smooth in my opinion. So I prefer the other method over this one. But yeah, if you don't want the flowers to get the pigment, you could use this like way gentler. Take your time to go around the subjects. But if you don't really care, then you don't have to. Then you can just do whatever you please with the tool. And don't worry too much. But yeah, I'm pushing this again in the spine. That's also why I placed more pigment next to the spine, so I can actually push it in there. So that's enough next to the spine, and now I'm going back to my original brush. Dab it again. I will also have a break soon in about 15 minutes or so. So now I'll go back in with my brush technique. And I'll use it on the rest of the page again, because I like this look a lot better than what I get with the water brush. So in order to make that nice and smooth, we have to add another layer, if that's not to our liking. But yeah, I really like the look of this pastel brush a lot better than what you get with the water brush. You see how smooth that is? Like over here is because of the water brush that it's not smoothing out. I'm trying to rub it, but it doesn't work. So we'll have to add another layer to this part, because if I pull you close, you see how that looks? That happens because you use the water brush. It's fine. Like over here, we also don't have enough pigment, so that's why it also stays a lot rougher than what you might want. So yeah, for that part, we need more pigment. Like over here, we have enough pigment. So you see, when you have enough pigment, it becomes so nice and smooshy. You see what I mean? The difference? Here, there's not enough pigment. So here you can see what I did with the crayons. So I'll just keep moving. Hopefully it will soften it up a little bit, but I'm afraid not. So yeah, you need enough pigment to make this work. Otherwise it doesn't work as much. As you can see now. You can clearly see the difference when there's not enough and when there is enough. But I have to admit that the darker tones are harder to make nice and smooshy than the lighter tones. So with the darker tones, you might need an additional layer at some point. So let me add a bit more water, dab it on my towel, and let's go in again. Because this is the part where I added in a lot of white. So there's a lot of wax build up on the page. So I have to work harder to smoosh it into each other. And I'm sure we need another layer for this as well, because it's not as smooth as I want it. But it's definitely working. Definitely working. And good quality paper also helps you out over here. Like the better your paper is, the easier this also is. Because if the paper is not good enough in quality, you might be damaging the paper as well with this technique. So you always have to test it out if your paper is suitable. Like you can use almost no water whatsoever and just smoosh it out with like just a dry brush basically. That's also something you could do if you don't want to add any water whatsoever. That's always an option, but I prefer a little bit of water. Just a tiny smidge of water over no water at all. Because it's definitely working. You see? It is working. It's smoothing it out. And I love it. So yeah, once I finish this bit, I will have a break and have some lunch. And then later in the day, when I've had my nap, I will continue with you guys. Because this takes a lot of energy for me with my arm and my hand. So I'll need my breaks with this. But yeah, this part needs more pigment. I can already tell. Because it's not blending out as smooth as I want it. Well, this part actually does, you see? So yeah, the trick is to just keep moving. Slowly but surely move along the page. Like it's getting really stiff here because there's a lot of pigment. So let me add a little bit of water. So it moves hopefully a little bit better. Yes, that worked. Brilliant. Moving it around. This is why it's better to work in layers, lighter layers, than putting too much. Like too much pigment is also not good, but too little is also not good, because then it won't move like you want it to. So you have to find an in-between. Like this is not enough. That's what I will say. So let's remove the clip and let's do the corner. But like you have to start somewhere. So I usually just add a light layer like I just did. Activate it all. And then I'll go back in wherever I don't like the look. And go over it again in the same manner. So do the same technique just again. Come on. This part has a lot of wax on it. Let me add a little bit more water. Hopefully that will work. Alright, that's probably all activated now. Yes, it is. Okay, there's a lot of cat hairs on my page that I will remove. So now all of this is activated. This whole right side is activated and the left isn't. You see the difference? Like this is more scary probably for most people than this side. Like, but you can see the, like some parts get a bit darker, other a bit lighter, but that's exactly what I want. I want the cloudy texture. But if I pull you close, you can definitely see that there's still scribbles visible. And that just means you need another layer. Same over here. You need another layer to smoosh it out. So that's the next step that we will do. But like, if I'll take you to the other side with the really dark tones, like over here, let's do that a little bit as well, so you can see what happens over there. So I will clean my brush, wet it again, because we're going into completely different shades now. And I'll start in the corner. This is the part that you have to be gentle with. And every time you go to a completely different color, make sure to clean your brush in between. Because these are darker tones, so it might be needed to have a little wash in between. But yeah, this also needs another layer, as you already can tell. But this is what I mean with the darker tones need more pigment to make it even smoother. But the first layer will always look a little bit patchy. You see what I mean? No matter what you do, because it's darker. That's something I've noticed when doing this kind of method. That it's always tougher with the darker tones. Like it works, as you can see, but it needs a little bit more, usually. So I'll try to smoosh it into the next tone, because I want it to blend. And now I'm still doing both pages, am I not? But yeah, I place the colors next to each other so you get different tones when you blend them into each other. That's why I'm just smooshing them into each other with the brush. But yeah, it will definitely need another layer because it has enough, doesn't have enough. There we go. So that's what you get if you smoosh it into each other. You see how beautiful? So now we want to do a little bit of the blue. So let me clean the brush again. So I dip it in the water, dab it off. Because I'm going to go into a different tone. Let's feel it. Yeah, it's not wet. Too wet. Okay, let's put it on the blue. So try to stay in the blue and slowly work it into the colors next to it so it blends out. But don't overdo it because it's a really light tone. It will look different. And then I'll activate the one on top of it. So we get like this nice lavender purple instead. You see what happens? Because we layer two colors, we get a new color. See how beautiful? I love it. That's why I like to layer my colors. So you create in between tones by just layering it up. And then I'll just go into the pink. But yeah, this looks a lot less pretty. You see what I mean? Looks ugly because there's not enough pigment. But that happens sometimes. You can't really control it that much. So let me add a little bit more water, see if that helps. Usually it doesn't, but you never know. No, it doesn't. It makes it even worse. Okay, let's carefully go down. It's just the way it works, basically. The main tip that I can give you is take your time and don't be afraid to layer it up with a second layer and do it again like this. Because this is not pretty at all. You see what I mean? It's not pretty, but this looks really good already. Like, I don't like how harsh this transition is, so I might add a little bit more of an in-between shade, but I do like the whatever, you know, like a little bit of everything look. Like, for instance, here we've got yellow and blue next to each other. If I mix that too much, it will become green. So, like, if I do it like this, stay away from the blue as far as I can, as you can see, and then do the same here. I'll let it dry. And once that's dry, then I will activate the blue, because I don't want them to mix, because then you get green. So that's what I do if I put a color that will mix into an ugly tone, as I call it, ugly. That's how I do it. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little break and have some lunch, and then later this afternoon when I've had my nap, we will continue. So let me clip this on, because otherwise it will fold, you see? It's like curling. That's why I've got the clips on the side, so it stays flat. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. So now you can really tell what's activated and what isn't. This is not activated, all of this, but this is, and this whole section is. So yeah, I'll be right back. Alrighty, and I'm back. It's now later in the day, and I'm gonna continue activating this side of the page. So let's get started, shall we? So let's dip it, take out the water, dab it on my towel, and let's go. All right, we did the yellow, but I didn't want them to mix with the blue, so that's why I'm activating the blue right now. So that's what I'm starting with. Because now if I do like this, even if I go over the yellow, it won't become green because it's already dried up. So that's good. Like, it could still mix if you really worked hard on it, but usually it's fine. It's safe to do it this way. So yeah, nice and soft blue. Like, I'm doing the whole blue section in one go, because otherwise it might add some pigment from the other parts, and I want this to be nice and light, this area. So that's why I'm doing that one first before I do the rest of the sections. So now we're gonna do the other parts. So many items on this page. It's tricky not putting it on top of the items. This is also why I take breaks, because this can be really tiring for my hand, the precision of my brush, making the movements. It's not always as easy on my hands, this type of activity. And that's why I need my breaks as well. Like, I can't just endlessly keep this going, like some people might be able to, but with me and my hands, like, this control requires a lot of attention, and my head can't do that for too long. So that's why I take a break after like 45 minutes to an hour, because I can feel it, you know, that my head is complaining and it says like, no more, please stop it. So I listen to that feeling, and then I'll take a break, because it's not going anywhere, as you can see. You can take your time with it. It's like a pretty versatile medium. Like, at first you think, oh, you can only do backgrounds with it. No, 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 no. You can do everything with it if you want to. That's what we're doing today. So I hope you will enjoy this with me. And you can use whatever colors you want. You could do the same as me, but you could also go for different colors if you don't have these, for instance. It's all up to you in the end. Like here we mix the pink and the purple, and you get like, instead of this, you get now like a different tone. That's what I like about it, that you can layer it up and it becomes something new. I love it. It's like magic on the paper. And I really like it. Yes, I really do. So beautiful. But you see how smooth it already gets after one layer. Just one layer. Let me put my my cup and my thingamabobby on the left, because I'm moving my book to this side because it's easier on my hand than going all the way there. Okay, let's wet it up again. Yeah, now you can also see me dabbing my thing, my tool, on that towel. I will also show you how you can remove pigment after we have finished activating the whole page, so that in case you smeared it on a place that you really don't wanted it, you can fix it up a little bit. I will show you that as well in a second. Once we've activated all of this, I will show you how you could do that. It's not that complicated at all. You might think it is, but it really isn't. It's just a simple technique in the end. Excuse me. This is my favorite method in the Eerie books these days, because like pencil is always a bit tricky on Eerie paper, but this stuff is so vibrant and works so well with Eerie paper that I'm like just getting excited. And that's why I love to use it in the Eerie book, because the paper can be wonky and difficult to work with pencils. Like I like my Holbein, but they leave the grainy texture still. It also depends on which Eerie book you grab, because not every Eerie book the paper is the same, I've noticed. There's also difference between them. So yeah, it's also a thing. I've also done that mermaid page that I showed you last month, or was it the month before? It was in May that I showed you the mermaid. But you see how much vibrant that is compared to what you see here? That's the difference. That's the beauty. Let me remove my crayons because they're in the way, so I can move my book again. So yeah, I really like using this technique. I saw that Joanna Stone on YouTube also is doing a lot of like Neocolor II ideas of what you could do, techniques to try out, like how to get certain things going. And I think there are good tips, you know, that she gives, and good examples. But you, like, if you don't have, for instance, a stencil, you won't be able to do that. I don't have any stencil, so that for me isn't an option. But like the tips that she gave for what tools to use, it's handy, you know. Like maybe you don't have this, but you might have something else that she used, like the sponges or something, the foam sponges, you know, makeup brushes, whatever you have, just try it out, because a lot of materials will actually work with this technique. But I found these like to be magic, because it's so easy to use. And I think most of the people own something like this. So it's easy to maintain, or to get hold of. That's how I want to say it. So yeah, that's why I picked this as my tool. Okay, let me wet it again because it's a bit too dry. And there you go. I didn't put the pigment all the way down. And you can tell that I didn't, which is fine. I'll just add a little bit more with the second layer. But you can immediately tell when there's not enough pigment because it's not as smooshed, not as like nice looking. You see? Then you keep areas where it's white. This is also because of the way I use the wax crayons. It's also my fault partly of how I applied it. But we can fix that with a second layer. So don't worry too much. It's actually good that it happens because then I can show you how you can still make it pretty. Even if that happens, how you could fix it up and make it pretty after all. So that's what we all want to know. How do you fix it when it doesn't look as smooth as you want it to? Let's see, is there anything else that I didn't activate? I see something here. There we have it. I think we activated everything. Let me feel. Yeah, it doesn't feel waxy anymore. Okay, let me put that clip back on because I removed it to activate it. So this is what we have right now after one layer, after activation. It already looks amazing, as you can see. So I will clean my brush after using this. So I will just dip it in the water and do the exact same. Push out the water and dab it on my towel so there's no leftover pigment in there. And put it to the side. So now we're going to add a second layer. And we're going to add it on all these places that look a bit like, you know, not good enough. So I would like to add some more over here because it doesn't look as nice. Like, let me show you. You see, it's not as smooth as I would want it to. So I will add some over there. So let me see, where are my swatch sheets? Where the heck did I do? What the heck? Where is it? Oh, I placed it in the, never mind, like navy B. My cat is coming out to play, but she's not allowed. Please, BB, come on. Get to me. Move, please. To my indoors. Good job. Okay. I was checking which color I wanted. I think I had that one over there with some white, and that's probably why it was acting a bit funky. And we had some of the blue, so we're gonna grab the blue for this area because I want to darken it up a smidge. And I'm gonna take that this one, I think it's this one, 90, the purple. So let's start with the purple. Let's add some more pigment. So this time I'm just going over it lightly, adding a little bit more pigment wherever it feels not as smooth. You don't need a whole lot, just need to add some more. That's the problem with the inside. Okay, let's see, do I have anything else? Like this I like. I don't mind that it's still a bit splotchy, but you could add more and then it becomes even softer. I don't really mind. I do mind this look, but it's still a bit too damp, so I will do it here instead because I can see that this part is really rough as well. It's not completely smooth like I want it to. So I'll add some more pigment here. I'm always a little bit like less heavy-handed when I add another layer. So I don't want to add too much pigment in one go. So I'll just add it wherever I feel like it needs some. Like on this edge it needs some. And then I'll switch to the pink, number 81. To add a little bit on top of here, because I don't like the look of this. It's too light in comparison. So we're gonna add some on top of here to smoosh it out. And I also would like some above here. Because I don't like how that looks either. Like so. This is okay. I don't mind the look of that. I don't like that. So I will add some of that orangey yellow, the 031 orangish yellow. And I'll add it on top. Let me move the book a bit. So I don't necessarily do the entire page again. I just do the areas that I am not a huge fan of. I'll just add some more pigment and do activation again. And then hope for the best, that it looks a lot better this time. And if it still is not to my liking, I can go over it one more time. Just depends on your preference, basically. I also want a little smidge on top of this. Alrighty, yes. Let's activate this first and then see, because I also want some blue. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do, the blue. Cobalt blue 5%, 661. And then we'll activate after I've done that. This part is fine, but this part I didn't like as much. So I'm adding a little bit more pigment to it. Hopefully that will work out. And maybe it does need a little bit of that pink tone. So we're going to the purple, number 90. We're adding a little bit on top of the blue. I think it needs a little bit more blending to make it look better. All right, and that's it. Now we're gonna activate again. So I'm gonna take the brush again, and we're just gonna do what we did before. And we're gonna do it again. Copy, paste, repeat, basically. So I'm just gonna go over this bit where I added the pigment. Gently dissolving the pigment. Yeah, it's not really like making it much dark, as you can see, but it makes it more like filled out, I guess. Is that the right word to say? I think it is. It's filling up those areas that I didn't like the patchiness, you know. But this area is looking still a little bit chunky. It's okay, but it's not perfect. I pushed too hard there. Yeah, the paper is not working over there. The texture of the paper is just fighting me. And that does happen sometimes, that it just doesn't want to work with you, because I damaged the paper with the crayon before, so you can see the marks that I made. It happens, you know. You can't make it perfect all the time. Like, you could make that smoother with some pencils if you want. I'm not bothered because I want the cloudy look. So for me this is fine. But maybe for you it isn't. Like, I just wanted the intensity, you know, and I got that. So that's good. So let's go over this part where we added a little bit more on the edge and on top because it wasn't as smooth. Yeah, same happens here. It's still not really working, but it worked a little bit to cover it up. It's okay. I can live with this look. So this is how I like to do the background. And then for the flowers and so on, you can either switch to pencils, which is always an option, but I'm not going to. I'm going to still use the crayons. But first I need to finish this part. Yeah, I like that a lot better, this look. It's much better than it was before. Alrighty, perfect. Let me feel. Yeah, it feels okay. Alright, let's feel this. Like, yeah, I know why it doesn't work here, because the paper feels damaged. Because of the water. I think I used too much water over there with the brush. You remember? That's why I try not to use the brush. But it looks good. It looks really good. I like the look of it. But now you can see that like the Neocolor has been on top of the flowers over here. Like everywhere there's a little bit on the flowers. So in order to remove that, let me clean this one first before I forget. In order to remove that, I will take my small makeup brush, like this really small one. And I'll just dip it in water and don't like flush it out. I just make sure that the side of the brush is clean. And then I can go to the place where I want it removed. And I'll just do like with water. And it should be able to lift it up. Oh my god. It should be. Like the paper is easily damaged with this one. Maybe I should take another one. Let's take this one instead. This one is a little bit softer. Let's see if that one works. Yeah, you have to be careful not to damage the paper. But usually when you go over it, you can remove some of it, but it is not working today. No, it doesn't want to move. Well, in that case, we're screwed. No, it's okay. We're just gonna live with it. That's what we're gonna do. But it usually when you make the brush too wet and you dab on it, it will pick up the pigment again and you can remove it. But maybe it's still too wet. That could also be the reason why it's damaging the paper. That it's like not dry enough. Like this part is dry. So let's see if it works there. Just one more time. No, it also doesn't pick it up. So no, it's just not working in this book. Well, that's too bad then. We're just gonna color over it with a Neocolor crayons, but this time we're gonna use it differently. So let's see what I've got. I need a palette where I can scribble on. So let me just grab the watercolor palette, because then I've got a surface to work on. So let me grab this one. It's just a watercolor palette. And I'm just gonna scribble it on here probably. Can I scribble it on the other side? That's also an option. Let's use this side instead. Yep. Okay. Let's do it like this. Improvisation show, okay? Like officially you want something with a rougher surface, but this will work probably as well. So let's see. I want, that's a special edition. Don't touch those, Pauline. Let's see. Are these all the special ones? Yes. Let me take them away because I don't want to use them accidentally. And these are not special, are they? No. Okay, so take these away because they're the special ones and we don't want to do the limited edition. We just want to keep it to the open stock ones. Now I want to just give color to all the flowers and I want the fairy to be pink. So we're going to start with the fairy, I've decided. So I'll put this in the middle of the page. I don't care that I put it right on top of it because it's dry, you know, it's not wet, because otherwise I wouldn't do this. So now what I will do is I will scribble the color that I want. So in this case, pink, number 81. I'll just scribble it on here. You see, that works. And I can then use it with a brush to put it there. So I will do the same with the purple, number 90, and I'll scribble it here. And then I will do the same with the other purple, which is purple violet, number 100, and I'll scribble it there. So we can just pick it up when I want to use it. We are going to do the same with the orangish yellow 031. And now I'm just going to start painting. I am going to add a little bit of white on the left in case I want to make something lighter. And let's go. So I'm going to take this water brush, the small one, the one with less water. I'm just gonna dip it in my water cup because it's not as wet and I want it a little bit wet. to activate this. So you see, I can activate it like watercolor. It's maybe like a little amount of pigment, but that's okay. Let's squeeze out some water. Come on, what the hell is wrong with you? Why aren't you working? Okay, and then we're just gonna add it on as if it's watercolor. Yeah, I don't have enough pigment. I can already tell. That's okay. We will add some more. Let's scribble some more down. I'm just gonna hold it in my other hand, and I'm just gonna, like, you could also just do like this, but I didn't like that last time, so maybe I do this time. Oh yes, better. Much better. Okay, we just do it from straight from the crayon then. Okay, perfect. So this is how I will do all the flowers and the tiny bits, just straight from the crayon, I've decided. So I also want some on her wings. Let's see, I think I want to do this part. But it's not wet enough, my brush. So I'll just dip it. Like, my brush is a bit not working, so I'll just use it with dipping it in the cup instead. It's okay. Look at that. Beautiful, don't you think? I like it. I also want some here. Like on the top of the flower. Like so. And maybe some on her shoes as well. Just a tiny smidge. Alright, let's pick it down. I'm gonna go to the next tone. I'm gonna use the water from that brush. And I'm just gonna go on top of her skirt. Like so. Color it in. At least I'm trying to. Let's take that one. It was this one. That is number 90, purple. Yeah, that works better. Straight from the crayon, people. Straight from the crayon. Let's go. Well, that's good that that works. Yeah, I just do it like that so I don't have the leftover water on my brush. Like normally it would just make itself wet, but this one is not working. I think it's like game over, this brush. So I think I'll have to toss it out or clean it, see if it works then. If it doesn't, I'll just toss it. I've got plenty more where they came from. Yeah, this is how I like to do everything else. Just with a brush. Let's also do some on the bottom of the shoe. Like a shading. Perfect. Okay, and then we go to the darkest tone, which is this lovely tone. I'm gonna add it on the skirt. Come on. That is number 100, purple violet. So they're all a little smidge different, but not much. So yeah, it's literally just playing around, as you can see. And I like doing it, but this book reacts differently than my other Eerie books. This is Romantic Country, the second tale. So every book responds a little bit different to this technique of doing this. So it's always like a learning curve every single time. But I do like it a lot. Just playing with it, like so. I love it. There we go. And then I'm gonna go back to the pink, the number 81. I'm gonna use that again to make it wet, the whole nib. And then we're gonna add it on top of this part. I don't wanna like completely color it, so I'm gonna keep a highlight where the light hits it, like so. I'm also gonna use it on her wings. Yes, beautiful. And then also on these wings. Nice and pink. There we go. And then we still have her legs, her arms, and her hair. So let's put this away. So I'm gonna take the yellow tone. It's really a harsh yellow. I will put that underneath her skirt, so it will pop. And I will also put that on her hair because I like it. Pretty tone for her hair. Maybe also on these flowers. That would be pretty, just the heart of the flower. Yes, beautiful. All right, a little bit on the wings because I like it, warming it up so it blends in. That's how I like to work with it, layer it up. Let me zoom you in a little bit because I think you might like it from up close. There we go. That's much better, isn't it? So yeah, that's how I'm going to do everything on the page basically. And I will just let it dry and then I will come back and do another layer if I don't like it. So let's just remove this because we don't need that because we have, we can just use the sticks basically. Yep. All right, let's keep going. So I would like a green tone. So I've got this turquoise green. 191, that's the only green I have, so I will use that for all the green bits. So that's what we're going to do next. So let me just activate the whole nib, making it wet. So that's how I like to do it. And let's get going. So this is really pigmented now, so you have to be a bit careful not to go over the lines. There we go. And then I'm going to move the book so you can see more leaves. So I will also do these bits. So this is how I like to do all the details without the big brush, just with a water brush. And you could of course take a smaller one. If you have one that's smaller, you can make a normal, you can use a normal paintbrush. But if you have one of these, that would be handier because it replenishes the water itself. But you don't squeeze it, you literally use it like a normal brush. So a normal one would also go, but you see what it does? It's as if there's resistance on it, like resistance, you know, like, so it's not just me, it's just the paper that is like being a bit stubborn. Like, yes, we got another layer of Neocolor underneath it, but like here it works fine, you see what I mean? So it's just like as if there's like some resistance in the paper itself. I have no idea why. Maybe it got a little bit damaged or something. I have no idea. But it works, and that's what it matters most. We can do the technique that I want to do. And that's this way. So yeah. Now you can already see where this is going. And we're just going to fill up every little bit on the paper like this. And it looks amazing, doesn't it? Nice and vibrant. You could even pick more colors and make it even more colorful. Like use different kind of greens for different leaves. But I would like to keep it cohesive. And that's why I'm going just for one shade instead of multiple. And I will leave parts like just the background, so that you have light and dark within the items, like I did with that leaf. And I also did that a little bit with those. But I don't do that with every leaf the same way. I'll just do it by feeling of what I feel like. And it works. Let me move all the way to the left, because laying my hand on the part that's wet is not the nicest feeling. So I'm going to start here with these leaves over there. Let me make it wet again because it dried up a little smidge. Okay, I've got quite a bit of pigment, so I'm going to place it on the sides. And then I'm going to dip my brush a little bit and I'm going to move it around like a watercolor. Like so. Yeah, I like it. Beautiful. So I picked colors that work well together. So you can just do whatever you feel like. You can make the flowers whatever color you want. You can just improvise. Whatever you want, it will work because the colors work together. And that's why I like using color palettes for this kind of stuff. Because it works really well. And there we go. Let's add a little bit more pigment on this side. And that's how it's done. I love it. Okay, let's do these ones. So even if you went over the leaves a little bit here and there, it's not the most horrible thing to happen because you can see, you can paint over it. You can just layer over it. And it won't matter that much. Which is good because you don't want to ruin it because you place something in the wrong place, isn't it? So therefore I say it doesn't really matter that much if you go over the lines, but you can at least try not to because then it becomes clear, you know, then when you go over it, then you have to work a bit harder to make it pretty again. Well, if you can just do it like this, it's easier usually. But you see that I left like the middle a little bit light. That's something I did on purpose because otherwise there's no contrast whatsoever. That's why I'm doing that. There's 2 more leaves here. So yeah, I did that on purpose, that I leave bits just white of the paper to get a bit of contrast. Let's see, are there more leaves? There are more leaves. There are more leaves here at the bottom of the page. Come on, book, move with me. Yes, it's in view. All right, let's remove this clip a little bit to the side so I can reach it. And let's color them. So yeah, because the paper underneath has a tone, the color will automatically looks a little bit different. And that's fine, you know, that creates also a certain effect, which I like. So I'll just act like, I'll just accept it for what it is. And that's also nice because you can just make it look different just because of the undertones. Which is nice, you know, to experience. It's not like it's becoming ugly. You see, it works just fine. It looks brilliant. Without too much trouble. Let's see, there's no green here. So this is the first part again. I got this song in my head that I heard on YouTube yesterday. And it's just a catchy tune that doesn't get out of my head. So that happens to me quite often actually, that I listen to music on YouTube and it just sticks in your head all day. Until you hear something else, then that's stuck for the rest of the day. I don't mind. I usually have music on when I do things like this. Because I really like listening to like either music or other people's YouTube videos. I don't really have to pay much attention to. Those are the ones usually that I like to watch while I'm doing this kind of stuff. So yeah. I was so excited to do this Eerie page because this is one of my favorite books. Not my favorite, because Romantic Country, the third tale, is actually my favorite. But if I actually look at the statistics of how many pages I actually like and dislike in each book, then number 3 shouldn't be my favorite, because it has a lot of pages that I also don't like, which is surprising because my feeling says I love it with all my heart and soul, every fiber of my being, while the stats say a different story. Then another book will come out on top, and it will probably be this one. Which is funny, actually, because sometimes your feeling about a book is so strong that you really believe that that's your favorite book of a certain artist. Well, in fact, if you just look at it like stat-wise, like how many pages do I actually love, how many pages do I not like, how many pages are okay, sometimes the difference is a lot different, if you just go by the stats. And it's surprising sometimes because, like, you've got your favorite pages in a book, and if they are so amazing that you just fall in love with it for that page, it can feel like it's an amazing book. Well, in fact, it might like have less pages than another book that you actually like, which is surprising because that is actually the case for me with Erie's books. That some that I think I don't like as much should actually be higher up, funnily enough. But that's not how I ranked them. I ranked them by feeling, not by stats. Which is interesting to me. Yeah, let me dip it again. It's getting a bit dry. So yeah, I love Erie. Like, there have been a lot of new coloring groups on Instagram starting, like, as of this year. Like this last month and this month, there has been a lot of groups being started. Also for Erie. Like, there was already a group for Erie for Heritage, I believe. And it now turned into more of a collective group for all of Erie's books. So, because, what was her name? The one that also does the Wild Year of Color, what's her name again? And the Yummy Year of Coloring as well. She is like she's like doing journaling at the moment that keeps her busy. So she's not as active in coloring. So she decided to step out of certain coloring groups. And one of them was the Erie group. And somebody else took over. And now it's like a collective Erie group. So you can, they have a theme with like search words basically that you can look for in any Erie book, or they've got a page that they've picked out in just a book from Erie that you could do for the month. So even if you don't have the book that's picked out, you still have the prompts to look for. So you can color in any Erie book. Even if you just have one, you can participate. So I really like that concept. And there's another group also for Maria Trolla that has the same concept, which I'm also now part of. Like, it doesn't mean that I will color in each group every single month, but I just like being in those groups because those are my favorites to color in. Like, I really like Clara, there's also a group for Clara Makova. There's a group for Maria Trolla, there's a group for Erie, there's a group for Leon's Journey, like all the stuff that I love. I think that's all the leaves done. So let's put this to the side. So yeah, I was really enjoying myself seeing all those groups come to life and joining them, because that motivates me to just pick something. So if I like what they picked, I will like happily join in. But if I don't, I will just do whatever I feel like, basically. And that's why I'm in those groups to see if they pick something that inspires me, and I can also see what other people do. Let's see. I first want to do some yellow on the flowers to give it some warmth, because there's a lot of warmth next to the fairy over here, but not so much on the flower. So I think I want to do all those hearts yellow. So let's activate this one. And let's add it in the centers of these flowers. So yeah, I've been enjoying myself in these groups. Like, I got my own group for Maria Trolle's Fairy Tale Worlds. But that's just for Fairy Tale Worlds. That's not for other books. So yeah. So if you're more interested in a like a more of a collective artist kind of group, there are a few around. I will put the name from the person you got a DM on Instagram on the screen, so you know who to go to if you want to join the group. Because I can't remember out of my head. I think it was Autumn maybe, or not sure actually. There were a couple of people who volunteered to start a few groups together or help each other out. So that's always nice. Like there's always people who want to color specific artists. So I think it's the more the merrier basically. Yeah, then you have enough choice. It doesn't mean that you have to do every group every single month. You could just pop in and out, you know, like depending if you like the page or not. You could hop on for 1 month and then do the other one the other month, because it's impossible to do every group every month. Because I'm also in the Frog's Tale group to finish a Frog's Tale. Like, it's impossible to do 10 groups in a month, you know what I mean? Then you would only be doing buddy groups. And I don't think anybody wants that. I think most people would like to play around in all their books instead of just a couple. Let's see, maybe the inside of this one. And then we got these ones here on the left. I've been enjoying the groups a lot. Like I've got the chat most of the times on mute because it's a lot of like notification if you leave them on. But I do sometimes go through it and read them all. See what's going on. Have a look at all the pictures that has been shared and stuff like that. I think that's enough yellow for now. Okay, let's put that to the side. All right, let's clean the brush. So what else do I want? We can add some of the other yellow, like the really bright yellow, which is number 11, pale yellow. We're going to add some of that on top of certain flowers to make them nice and bright. Let's see, which one do I want yellow? I think I would like some of these to be yellow on the top. Like not the entire flower, but just like half of them. Like so. You know? Just a part of them. Not all of it. Yes, I really like that. I have seen that there's a tag going around called the red flags tag. And there's also one going around about the underappreciated artist. And yeah, I've also participated in that one last month. And like Column Mama 360 has come up with so many tags in the last year. It's hard to keep up. It's nice, but it's hard to keep up with all the tags. Like I know there was the unpopular opinions tag as well. I did not participate in that one because I didn't want to. I have been tagged by several people to participate, but I was just not feeling it. Yeah, I really like that look. So let's see if I can also do some on this big flower over here. Like maybe on the inside, like so. Yes, I like that. Okay. Don't know why I'm whispering. As if I'm doing some forbidden stuff here. Maybe I am. Okay, let's go to the other side. Maybe we can do that one with some yellow. There we go. All right, let's pick a different tone. So let's go for the pink. Just pink, number 81. Let's clean the brush again. Let's activate this one. And there we go. Okay, pink. I think I want some pink on this one. Like on the sides, like so. I'll leave the white of the paper for that one because I really like to make use of the paper when I do stuff like this. Because otherwise it might disappear. Let's also give this some pink in the middle. Like as you can see, I don't color every subject completely from beginning till end. I leave stuff like the color of the paper. I do that on purpose because sometimes it's prettier to not add too much color. Let's add a little bit of water. Yeah, it's really the paper that's fighting it. You see what I mean? Like it doesn't really want to blend. Once it's down, it's down. So that's good to know that this paper is different than my other Eerie books. It's really dependent on the book, which is stupid. What did they do to this paper? I feel bad for the book. It will still be loved by me, okay? It will still be loved. I will just curse a little bit once and so often because it's not doing what I want it to do. But it will be pretty anyway. Like you can see, I'm just playing around with my colors, placing them wherever I feel like. Adding a little bit on top because I didn't like the look of them. Alright, that's that one. And then we want maybe that one. This is how I always tackle my flowers. I just do whatever feels good at the time. And I'll just go for it. Don't think too much. Just go for it. And that's also the strategy I would give to you. Just go for it. If you think like, oh, that would look good, do it. Don't think about it too much. Just do it. That's the best way to learn, by just playing around. Nobody's telling you that you can't do that, you know? Like people might try to tell you what you can and cannot do, but no, there's no police in this hobby. Just your own mind that can stop you from doing stuff. So if you're like, oh, I want to try this too, go for it. Don't stop yourself. And yes, you can see that the paper is like absorbing it way too much. And that's probably the reason why this doesn't work as on the other paper. Like usually you can remove the pigment by just adding like a wet brush and you can just wipe it off. This one doesn't work that way. It just sucks it in and it will ruin the paper. So that's good to know. Like I think that's enough pink. Let's go to a darker tone actually. Let's go to the purple, number 90. So yeah, it's good to experiment because not every book acts the same way, as you can see clearly, because I've been working in other Eerie books and it worked fine. And in this one, it says like, yeah, no, thank you. I don't feel like it. No, thank you. Okay, let me clean off the brush because it's a lot of pigment. Okay, and let's start. I don't want too much pigment on my brush. Okay, let's do this layer. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely the paper. You see how weird that acted? What the heck? Oh, I will survive. Don't worry about it. I will survive. But yeah, it's acting up. It's the paper that does it. Not the other stuff. It's the paper that does it. Doesn't like the water that much, actually. It is unlucky because I want to use it anyway. But yeah, the trick is to just do it once and then don't touch it. Because like that one I touched multiple times, doesn't work as much. This one looks better. So yeah, pick your pigment and just go for it. Don't hesitate. That's the trick for this book. But yeah, you can see that it doesn't like it as much. Like in my other book, it worked much better. And with that, I mean the English edition of Romantic Country. But that one you can't use the water. So in that one you can't do this. I also want the heart of the flower to be like that. Yes, brilliant. I love it. Alright, we've got a lot more flowers below here. So let's also add some here. I think I want this one. Do I want the back or the front? Maybe the middle? Like so. Follow the stripes. Yes, I think I like that. Okay. Beautiful. Maybe something here in the middle, maybe on this one. Yep, like that too. And then we go to the right, and I think I want to do some of these berries with this color. So I will just do the outside, work my way in, and then I'll leave a highlight in the middle, like so. That's how I color them. Oh, that happened. I just covered my highlight. That happens. Don't worry about it. They don't all look the same anyway. I really like that look. Okay, let's also do this flower just completely. And there we go. And there's another one here that could use that color. And then she also has some in her hand, but I think I like them in white. Yeah, I like them in white. Okay, let's have a look. Let's clean my brush. Let's pick a different color. Let's pick the darker one, the purple one, the purple violet 100. So let's pick that one. Holy shit. Where did it go? Okay. Catastrophe. That happens to people, yes. I mess up sometimes as well. Let's do this flower on the inside. Oh, that's a lot of water actually. Hold up. That's probably also why it was doing what it did. And there's a hair. It's alright. I will just leave it. Leave it alone. I like the look of those. Maybe we can do this tiny one with, or maybe I can do these marks with that. You see these marks? That will look good too, to accentuate them. Yes, I like that. Okay, I also want something with this one, but not the whole flower, just a part of it. Okay, yes, yes, yes. I will just spread my love. Let's also do this one. You have to work a little bit faster with this one. Like, see, that one already dried up. So just add a little bit more, because otherwise it just doesn't work at all. It is okay. Like these berries, I want them too, just like we did on the other side. I was looking into those tracing books by Erie to see if I really didn't like them. And I looked at the flip throughs again and I was like, no, I really don't like them. They're too simple. You know, like they're like you need to make the lines yourself if you want to see the lines. But on top of that, they're also really simple pictures and I don't like it. I like the more intricate details in the pages in these kind of books way better. So I've decided against buying them because I was considering it, seeing that I already have so many Erie books, but I was like, nope, I don't like it. And if I don't like it, then don't buy it, I would say, because I already have so many Erie books anyway. So I don't need the full collection, but maybe I would love to have some of them, you know, like, okay, let's take a different color again. Let's clean the brush. I think I want to go for a purple. Maybe this one, the blue purple, the blue violet, periwinkle blue, that one. Periwinkle blue, 131. Let's not do it above the book this time, before I splatter again. All right, let's get going. Okay, I'm gonna do the outer part of this flower with this color. Just like so. But yeah, this paper doesn't like the water that much, you see? It's just acting up. That's why it's doing that weird stuff in the background as well. Well, that's good to know, because then I know not to do that. Still looks good, what we're doing right now. I really like that. All right, maybe that one can use some of it. It's a lot of water for some reason. You see, it's just sucking it up, this paper. I hope it doesn't bleed through. If it does, I'm screwed. We will see. Like, I will also go over this part. Some pigment. Okay. Don't touch it anymore. No, I want pink. I want pink on those. I'm just gonna do the sides of these bellflowers. Like so. And I will also do the ones here at the bottom. Let me move my book. Like these ones. I'll also do that on these. Yeah, this paper does not like the watercolor method that much. That's okay. We will live. We will survive. Can you see those? Yes, you can. Okay. And there are more berries over there, so I also would like to do them. But I want to keep those highlights again, like I did with the other ones. At least trying to. Need more pigment. So yeah, this is not necessarily complicated, this technique, by just doing everything with Neocolor. It's just a style choice, you know, like if you don't like it, then you might not want to do this. You can always just switch to pencils for everything in the foreground again. But I really like this painterly style in Erie's books. And that's why I'm doing it, basically. Like, I would like to have these other flowers also with this tone. Just color them completely with this tone. Like so. And there was another one there. Just color them. Like, I see more over here. So this one. And some here at the bottom. And at the top as well over there. Let's see, can I push it? Yes. This one. And this one. And there's one over here in the spine. And there's a few over here as well. So I'm gonna do this one, just the outside. Like so. This one I will just do completely. And then we got one more here that I will also do. There we go. Okay, let's clean the brush and let's pick a different tone. I'm gonna go for the blue this time. So we're gonna go for the cobalt blue number 5%, this one. Number 661. That's the one we're going for. And I'm gonna add it on flowers that we haven't touched, like this one. And like this one. It's a really light tone, so I might need some more color afterwards. We'll see. I do like it. Maybe just stripes on this one. Not like completely color it, but just stripes. Yeah, I do like that. I think this one here on the left can use some. This one. Yes. Okay, that's enough with that tone. I don't really like it that much. I think I want to do a yellowy tone again. So we're going to go to this one, which is number 521, Sahara Yellow. I'm going to add it in. I got some blue on my brush. I didn't clean it, didn't I? No, I didn't. And I'm just going to not add that in. It's disgusting color. Okay, let's clean it. Let's clean this part as well. There we go. And let's use it like this before I mess it up. There we go, that's better. And just add it on top as well. And I'm just gonna add it on most of the flowers. So let me move my book a bit up because I want some on this part as well, like on these top leaves. I'm gonna use the white of the paper for most of the flowers anyway, so I'm gonna leave a lot of it white to use it as an illusion. There we go. Let's add some on this one as well. I really like the warmness of this kind of tone on the flowers. It works really well. It makes it look really pretty. Okay, let's move up because there's another one here. And that one already has a lot of yellow, so it doesn't need much. Let's see, maybe this one. Just on those bits, not everywhere. Let's see, this one can also use some yellow. Maybe this one a little smidge. I think this big one can use some as well here on the edge to warm it up. That warms up the whole flower, you see what I mean? And that's why I add it last, so I can see where it fits the page instead of doing it first, because normally with pencils I would start with it, but with this technique I will end with it, with that, like the vibrancy of these colors. Because I really like to add them. And then we got the fairy, so I'm gonna add some more yellow on the fairy as well, just because I don't think I like it enough. So I'll just paint over it, because they didn't pop as much. Now hopefully they will. Let's add a bit of highlights on her as well with the yellow, because if the sun is hitting her, see what I mean? That works really well. Let's also do that on her skirt a little bit. And there we go. All right, we need to do her skin. So let's make a skin color. I will use my palette this time. So I will place it here. And I will do a little bit of yellow. A little bit of orange, which we don't have. A little bit of pink then. And a little bit of the orange yellow. And see what that does if we activate it. See what we get. Yes, that is a salmony pink. Perfect. Oh, that's like a lot of water. You see how it soaks in? It's crazy. This paper really doesn't like water. All right, that's enough color then, I guess. Okay, let me have a look at the whole page. Clean my brush. See what else I would like. I'm gonna zoom you back out and see how it looks like. OMG, I love it. I actually like it a lot the way it is. I don't think I want to do anything else. Like that one might have, that might can use a little bit of color. So let's use a bright one. Let's use this one, purple violet. Let's use that one. Yes, brilliant. Okay, like I see another one that isn't colored over here, so I'll use that one as well. This is a number 100, purple violet. Yeah, this paper does not like water. That's for sure. That one I think I might want to do as well, even though it's really close to what the other dark flowers. We'll still do it anyway, because it needs to be in the background. Let's see what else we've got. I think this one I want a little bit more darkness in the middle, like over here, you know. Some more dimension. Yes. And with these ones I want a little bit of a darkness in the center, So I don't like how light they are. So let's do them a dark center instead of the yellow. Like the yellow is already dried up anyway, so it will dry up. Dark this time. Okay, let's put it away. Am I happy with what I'm seeing? I think I am. I am happy, so I'm gonna call it done. So yeah, that's how I do it. So I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle. Like you see what happened over there? That's just the paper. It's not like how I did it. Like in other books it actually works. So that's why it's important to test it out on multiple books, because every book will respond differently to it, as we can see now. But it does really work. Like the smooth blending does work, but don't use too much water. That's the only trick that I have for you. So yeah, this is what we have accomplished in our romantic country book. So I hope you enjoyed this color along, and hopefully it's helpful to how you could use Neocolor IIs in your coloring. And if you're like, I want to add more detail, you can always go over with like a wax pencil, like Prismacolor, Holbein, Chromaflow. They will all work on top of this. As long as you activate the Neocolor, it will work. Like if you don't, it has a waxy layer, it will not work. But I will recommend not the oily pencils, but the wax pencils. They work the best on top, even after activation. So yeah, that's my trick if you want to use those on top. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this color along, and I hope to see you for my next one. So thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.